that's literally it for May. So now we get into one of the bigger months where I saw a lot of movies, and that's
June.
Up first, we got Captain Underpants.
First graders. Always hits them the hardest. Hold on a second.
Not counting Your Name, this is the best animated picture this year. I mean, Your Name technically doesn't count. Wouldn't be qualified for the Oscars this year anyway. The fact that this was snubbed by fucking Boss Baby pisses me off. Boss Baby is a little shit. What you have to understand about the Oscars is that they literally 100% bought off. So DreamWorks decided to buy the Oscars off for Boss Baby instead of Captain Underpants. They made that decision. They made the decision to promote Boss Baby 100 times more than they did Captain Underpants. But Captain Underpants is a much fucking better movie. I don't think there's any argument to that. First off, I was a huge fan of the books as a kid, but I haven't picked one up in maybe a decade. I remember specifically at the end of the last one I read, they had a teaser for the next one, and I waited for years, hoping every time that my parents took me to the bookstore that there would be a new Captain Underpants book. And there never was, and I gave up hope. But it's fucking out now. There's like 3 or 4 more. I'm still kind of bitter about that. Getting into the actual movie, I don't think you need to have read any of the books to appreciate this movie. What's honestly surprising about this is I was expecting to like it because I like Captain Underpants. I was honestly so fucking psyched when they announced this. What I was not expecting is that the whole movie is deliberately this subtle meta-narrative about how fucked up the American school system is. And I'm sure it applies to a lot of British and Australia and wherever school systems, but primarily the American one, because the American's probably the shittiest out of all of them. It's about how these kids are punished for being creative, and how instead of giving them an environment to flourish, it squashes them to forego a system that's just based on memory and only suited to this small minority of kids that can like thrive in this completely memory fact-based environment, not hands-on, where it's just, here are the facts, you will learn them, we will test on them next week and then never bring them up again till the final, then you can forget about them forever. It is very subtle. It's something that I think older kids and adults, and then kids who see it and then grow up and look back on it, are gonna notice. And it's definitely not like, oh, fuck school, don't go to school, anything like that. It's a critique of it while understanding the importance of it. And there's literally like, hey, we got a lot of teachers and principals and whatever that don't care as much as they should. That's probably because we don't pay them anything. We don't value them in society. It is very subtle in the fact that a lot of it is shown through the tone and the color palette and the lighting of the scenes. The scenes in the school, when the kids are in school, are very dimly lit, have a very dark, bland color palette, and then instantly they'll get outside and it's bright and fucking vivid colors, extremely well lit. I couldn't have appreciated this more. You know, it's not like a traditional, oh, don't steal, don't be a jerk to your friends. It's like a societal issue they're able to fucking address in this movie without shoving it in your face. And even without that, even if that wasn't in the movie, this movie's still fucking great. I wasn't psyched going in knowing that like Kevin Hart, and I don't even know who the white kid's voiced by, I was like, oh, it's just big name celebrities, they're probably not going to be very good, but they were actually good enough at their voice acting job that it didn't take me out of the movie at any point. It didn't feel like, oh, they just replaced his character with Kevin Hart. I don't even remember their names, so I'm sorry about that, but he felt like his own character. It could have been voiced by anyone, and if I didn't know it was Kevin Hart, it still would have been a good performance. A majority of this film's 3D modeled, but also that it doesn't like restrict itself to that when it needs to, when it feels it's necessary. It'll like short scenes will switch to 2D animation, and there's even one with like sock puppet animation, as well as, and fans of the book will be probably as excited as I was, the Flipperama. There's a scene where it's animated by the Flipperama. I think most people will be surprised that this movie's so much better than just the majority of the kids' movies out there. I think that it's definitely going to be a surprise for a movie called Captain Underpants that it's this good. I think that it's noticeably better than so much of the other movies out there. Much as the name would suggest, there's like fucking scatological jokes and fucking, you know, not even necessarily gross out, just more like juvenile kind of fart-based humor, I guess. But that's not all the jokes are. It's almost kind of like Beavis and Butthead in the sense that it kind of uses the stupidity, I guess, of the fart jokes as like its own commentary. It uses the childishness of the situation of those kinds of jokes and makes commentary about it instead of just doing the fucking fart jokes, it's nice to see, especially because fucking like Teen Titans Go, all you see is just that. It's refreshing. But there are plenty of jokes geared towards adults, not even in like a inherent, like not even in a sexual way at all, just jokes that kids aren't gonna appreciate. And like SpongeBob, just like SpongeBob, it's a play on the traditional style that these jokes would have been told in, or it makes jokes that appeal to like people who have to pay taxes, or people that have to go to jobs for the rest of their lives, things that kids aren't just gonna understand. I know there's people that don't like this movie. I don't really know why. I can't really see that perspective. Like there's plenty of movies that I can see that I can understand why people don't like this, but this is not just like it's a good kids movie. It's a good movie, and I mean I guess I can understand not liking the kind of style, if you only like media that's super serious or whatever, but like I feel like people are really gonna write this movie off, and they shouldn't. I think that just about everyone should see this movie, and just about everyone will like this movie for something. I think that if I had kids running around, if my pull-out game wasn't as strong as it is, I would definitely be happy to watch this over and over and over again with my kids.